also want to thank every Amazon employee and every Amazon customer, because you guys paid for all of this. So seriously, for every Amazon customer out there and every Amazon employee, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Baby, lock the door and turn the lights down low, and put some music on that's soft and slow. Baby, we ain't got no place to go. I hope you understand, I've been thinking about this all day long. Never felt a feeling quite this strong.
Colonel, you better take a look at this radar.
What is it, son?
I don't know, sir, but it looks like a giant...
Dick!
Yeah.
Take a look out of starboard.
Oh my God, it looks like a huge...
Pecker!
Oh, where?
Wait, that's not a woodpecker. It looks like someone's...
Privates! We have reports of an unidentified flying object. It is a long, smooth shaft, complete with two balls.
What is that? That looks just like an enormous...
Wang, pay attention.
I was distracted by that enormous flying...
Willie. Yeah. What's that? Well, it looks like a giant...
Johnson,
Yes, sir.
get on the horn to British intelligence and let them know about this.
You have grander space ambitions than going to the edge of it. Did this moment motivate you to push deeper into the cosmos?
Hell yes.
Baby, lock the door and turn the lights down low.
Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit lonely and you're never coming round. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of listening to the sound of my tears. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit nervous that the best of all the years have gone by. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit terrified, and then I see the look in your eyes. Turn around, bright eyes. Every now and then I fall apart. Turn around, bright eyes. Every now and then I fall apart, and I need you now tonight, and I need you more than ever. And if you only hold me tight, we'll be holding on forever, and we'll only be making it right, 'cause we'll never be wrong. Together we can take it to the end of the line. Your love is like a shadow on me all of the time. All of the time. I don't know what to do and I'm always in the dark. We're living in a powder keg and giving off spark. I really need you tonight. Forever's gonna start tonight. Forever's gonna start tonight. Once upon a time I was falling in love, but now I'm only falling apart. There's nothing I can do, a total eclipse of the heart. Once upon a time there was light in my life, now there's only love in the dark. Nothing I can do, total eclipse of the heart. In my eyes, indisposed, in disguises no one knows. Hides the face, lies the snake in the sun and won't you come, wash away the rain, black hole sun. Won't you come, won't you come, won't you come? Stuttering, cold and damp, still the warm wind, tired friend. Times are gone for honest men, sometimes far too long for snakes. In my shoes, walking sleep, in my youth I pray to keep heaven send hell away. No one sings like you anymore. Black hole sun, won't you come, wash away the rain, black hole sun.
Jack Parsons, to me, is the greatest unknown, I don't know what to call him, philosopher, scientist, whatever he was. He was the greatest. He was one of the greatest men of the 20th century who was not known. Most people have heard of Buckminster Fuller and Albert Einstein and Aleister Crowley to some extent, James Joyce. Jack Parsons is virtually unknown, and yet he was, more than anybody else, responsible for the American space program and the fact that a man as Neil Armstrong walked on the moon. He's responsible for the whole space program, and he was one of the greatest libertarian philosophers who ever lived.
During the 1930s and 1940s, the OTO Lodge in California was headed by a brilliant young rocket designer called Jack Parsons. Jack Parsons developed patented rocket technology which is still in use by NASA to this day. NASA named a crater on the dark side of the moon in honor of Jack Parsons. Jack Parsons worked during the day to develop rocket propulsion systems which would serve NASA's space program, which was controlled by ex-Nazi SS officers such as Werner von Braun, who had been brought to the USA by the CIA's Project Paperclip. At night, Jack Parsons would hold sex magic rituals in his house in Pasadena and initiate fellow scientists at the Los Alamos Atomic Bomb Laboratory. Jack Parsons was fully aware of what his rocket designs would eventually be used for. Not far from Jack Parsons' rocket lab in Pasadena, Robert Oppenheimer was building the world's first atom bomb.
Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. Ground control to Major Tom. 8, 7, 6. Commencing countdown, engines on. 3, 2, check ignition, and may God's love be with you. This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade, and the papers want to know whose shirts you wear. Now it's time to leave the capsule if you dare. This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door, and I'm floating in a most peculiar way, and the stars look very different today. For here am I sitting in a tin can.
The craters and mountains of our moon bear the names of giants of science, figures like Archimedes, Kepler, and Copernicus. There is also a crater honoring someone called Jack Parsons. There are some who would rather he had been forgotten. Perhaps that's why his crater is on the dark side of the moon.
He was a maverick rocket scientist, okay? He was also a maverick rocket scientist spiritually.
This father of American rocketry was also an occultist, devoted to a path still widely misunderstood and feared.
So the founding of modern rocket science is absolutely allied and connected with black magic.
Only its detractors would call it black magic. For Parsons, this was his spiritual path, as it is for its initiates today. His scientific legacy continues. So does the puzzle of his death. On June 17, 1952, at 5:08 in the evening, a powerful explosion shook tranquil Pasadena, California. and so ended the life of 38-year-old Jack Parsons. Of 38-year-old Jack Parsons.
Of 38-year-old Jack Parsons.
Words and magical systems dominate the world that we live in. There is, in point of fact, a magical matrix at work.
With respect to your second question, those were the 38 of the most intense minutes. I have no idea what any of us were looking at that particular millisecond when the fiction...
Afghan President Hamid Karzai said this morning 31 U.S. Special Forces and 7 Afghan soldiers were killed in one of the deadliest single attacks for American troops in nearly 10 years of war in Afghanistan.
The death toll among U.S. troops in Afghanistan during the month of August has now risen to 38.
The death toll from suicide attacks on a bank in the eastern Afghan city of Jalalabad has climbed to 38.
Pakistani intelligence officials say a U.S. drone missile strike on Thursday killed at least 38 suspected militants. It happened in a Pakistani tribal region known as
Iran's official IRNA news agency says 2 suicide bombings have killed at least 38 people. The report...
Mubarak refuses to step down and end his 30-year rule. Egyptian security officials say at least 38 people have died and 2,000 have been injured in this week's violence.
A pair of suicide bombers strike at the heart of Moscow's subway system, one of the busiest in the world. At least 38 people were killed in what appear to be coordinated attacks at 2 separate subway stations.
A series of violent attacks have sent shockwaves ripping across Nigeria, and several deadly bombings were followed by new religious clashes in the country's central region on Sunday. And the Christmas disturbances have left at least 38 people dead. Damien Jones has the top story.
Heavy rains continue to pound China's Guangxi province, and the death toll is rising from landslides triggered by the downpour. As of today, at least 38 people are dead and 14 others are missing.
At least 38 children have died in a fire at a daycare center in northern Mexico, and dozens more have been...
And the powers that be in this world have set up a world of symbols and emblems and terms and catchphrases. And once you understand how this system works, it's fascinating, because for the first time, the world opens up to you a whole new perspective on how government works. It is very well planned, organized, and directed. There is a hidden agenda, so to speak. Occult is simply a word meaning hidden, and so much of our powers in this world and the way things work are hidden. And the more one looks at this subject of how the world actually works, you begin to see that there's a magical system, and I'm telling you, there really is a magical system dominating the world. Magical system of finance, government, education, and all of it is right in front of you. But if you don't understand what the words are and what the words mean, you're never going to figure out how this stuff works.
Gank.
You have grander space ambitions than going to the edge of it. Did this moment motivate you to push deeper into the cosmos?
Hell yes.
CEO, entrepreneur, born in 1964, Jeffrey Bezos. CEO, entrepreneur, born in 1964, Jeffrey Bezos. Come on, Jeffrey, you can do it. Pave the way, put your back into it. Tell us why, show us how. Look at where you came from, look at you now. Zuckerberg and Gates and Buffett, amateurs can f***ing suck it. Fuck wives, drink that blood. Come on, Jeff, get 'em!
That's the best you can do!
You had to ask.
This is the best I can do. This is exactly what I wanted. All of you against all of me. How can you possibly hope to stop me? This is exactly what I wanted. All of you against all of me. How can you possibly hope to stop me?